Yes, guys, and welcome to the Bristol City vs Sunderland match review. Now, I'm going to try my best not to be too negative, given the scenario of the game, given the situation of the game, but there are going to be some negatives. One in particular that I am going to go pretty hard on, I think I'm going to anyway, but I'm going to leave that for later on in the video. But I will go into the review. Before we do get into it, do us a favour, hit the like button for me. It's massively appreciated. It'll put a smile on my face, given the shit result today. I know in the grand scheme of things it doesn't mean a massive amount in terms of our position, but of course, as I keep on saying, I never want us to lose a game of football. And yeah, we'll get into it. Subscribe if you are new as well. We're going to get into it. So when I looked at the starting 11, I was quite surprised because a certain Enzo Lafay was in the starting 11. So I was really, really excited to see that. Now, getting into the game, we did have Pato in goal. We had Mayenda at left back. We had Hume at right back. In the centre defensive positions, we had Mepham and O'Nien. Then we had Lafay and Dhannoo playing as a centre mid roles with Rigg in front of him as the 10. One side we had Roberts, we had Watson for some reason on the left still, and up top we had Mayenda. So I was really excited. Now the opening 5 minutes were probably the most positive 5 minutes we've seen Sunderland play in weeks. And then we get a man sent off. And it's just so typical Sunderland. We started the game really well. The press was there. The intensity was there. We were forcing them into errors, forcing them into mistakes without making too many clear-cut chances or anything like that. But, you know, we were breaking down with Lafay. There was a couple of chances, there was a couple of moments. Lafay shown us in the opening 5 minutes that there was one moment where O'Nien was sort of cornered in our third, down at the sort of left-back position. He manages to sort of move it on to Lafay. He spins to Bristol City players before moving the ball on. We were trying to break forward, constantly breaking with Mayenda. Watson had a chance on the left-hand side. He's made a horrible first touch. Then he's managed to claw it back towards our men, and no one could get on the end of it in the box. But then, sort of 4 or 5 minutes into the game, ball's put down the left-hand side. It was Wells who's going for it. And Hume sort of cuts across him, but behind him, and he's got his hands up. There's very little to no contact, very, very minimal contact. But Wells has gone down. I could see why the ref has given it, but he's giving a red card. At first reflection, when I first saw it, I thought, right, oh yeah, you might have put your hand up, but there's contact there. You are technically the last man. I can see why a red card's going to be given here, but now looking back at it, the ball is going away from goal on the left-hand side. O'Nien is not far behind at all, but it is going away from goal. It's not like it's going to be directly bearing down. It's going away from goal. So a red card, I think it was harsh, but equally it ruins the game after 5 minutes. It completely changes the dynamic of the game. We went for O'Nien at right back, and then we had Mepham and Dhannoo as the centre-back partnerships. We've got our centre-mid captain who's playing centre-back now. Left back, Mayenda still. So it was a real mismatch already. And then, of course, everyone else has to shuffle downwards. And we're just defending. And Bristol City throwing everything at it. It was usually sort of long shots, long-range efforts, putting balls in the box. There was a good save from Pato. They've managed to get a shot away in the box. But yeah, it was largely just pinging the ball in from left and right. And then shots from long range. It didn't do too much. A couple of close shots to sort of the far post here and there. But we did look dangerous on the break. We still had something. We were defending for our lives. And I was so proud of seeing that. I said in the preview to this game that I wanted to at least see a team that give a performance or give us a performance to be proud of. And I wanted to be able to see what we're trying to achieve, which of course was always going to be difficult after going down to 10 men. But like I said, the opening 5 minutes, it looked like we were back to our former selves. And then we had to change the dynamics of the game, as I say. So we were defending for our lives. And I was proud of the lads. But even though it was just defending, it weren't like we just kind of caved and we give up. We did have the outlet of Mayenda or Roberts driving down. Every now and then, it might be every 10 minutes where we had to really weather a storm and a flurry of crosses, a flurry of shots from long range. We did have the outlet of Mayenda picking up the ball and driving us forward. And it did happen every now and then. So I did think, even though we went down to 10 men, I thought, if we do manage to keep defending like this, and we were defending like absolute warriors, there's going to be a chance here. And lo and behold, Elijah Mayenda pulls off what for me his goal of the season. It's literally just outside our own box. He picks it up. There's 2 Bristol City players trying to sandwich him. He managed to wriggle his way through him, drive up the pitch all the way into the Bristol City box, shimmy from right to left as he does, and then hit it hard and low into the bottom right corner to make it 1-0 to give us something to hold on to. And I think, I don't know whether this was just shy of the half-time whistle. They did have the ball in the back of the net as well, but it was deemed to be offside, and it was offside, and actually a very good call from the linesman. So that's me giving the officials a compliment there, which is very rare in this game, by the way, because all the little nitpicky things was all going Bristol City's favour. It was shocking. Second half comes out, and we defended well. I said generally we did defend well, but I feel like once the subs were changed, Isidore come on, and so Mayenda shifted over to the right, and Lafay came off, Samed come on. You know, we did make a lot of changes. We kind of didn't have the outlet anymore with Isidore. You know, as much as he was feeding off scraps because we were defending so much, Wilson needs to be held accountable at times, and he does today. Don't get me wrong, like I said, he's feeding off scraps. There was no clear-cut chances or anything like that. But when we do manage to get the ball forward and pump the ball forward, when you do have the opportunity to make the ball stick, hold the ball, to relieve some pressure off the back line, who, by the way, they were just constantly, it was cross after cross after cross, blocking shot after blocking shot after blocking shot, all game long. Their legs are going to be absolutely shot. So when we do finally get the ball up, Wilson, you have the responsibility as the lone striker to hold the ball up. And every single time it did come to him, he'd pick up the ball and he'd either turn directly into a Bristol City man, or he'd hold up the ball and the Bristol City man would just push him away like he was a child and nick the ball off him. And that's all Wilson contributed all game, which is absolutely piss poor, which does not help the back line, because then as soon as they've got the ball back, they go again, crossing again and again and again. And we brought Job on as well, which is good to see him back on the pitch. But it was his poor clearance that led to the second goal. Ball's put in the box. They're trying to wriggle their way in there. He needs to just put his foot through it on the sort of 6-yard box, Job. But he's almost just passed it directly to the Bristol City man, who puts it away to make it 2-1. But sorry, the equaliser, I must say, was, and that's a 2-1, I'm getting ahead of myself there, but the equaliser for Bristol City, I will just say it was an absolute screamer. There was no way. In any other game, that would have been goal of the game, but I still think Elijah Mayenda's goal was just better, just about maybe by a thread, was better than this one. But it was an absolute, it was Dicky with the goal. He's pinged it into the top right-hand corner. Patson had no chance. And I will say, I think Patson actually had largely a very good game, with some very good saves. He came out when he needed to. His judgment to try and claim the ball was good. When he needed to punch it, it was good. But yeah, I mean, the second goal is the ball's gone straight through him, which is very frustrating. But largely, I think his performance in general was very good. But yeah, so they made it 2-1. I've just done that the wrong way around there, hadn't I? I've jumped to the second goal and then gone back to the equaliser. But yes, so that was largely the game. We're defending, and I think that once that one goes in, it's very, very hard to claw at anything. And they were still just putting cross after cross. It was only a matter of time, and they were deserved of their lead. However, like I said, the defending was outstanding generally. We probably got fortunate at times, given we only had 10 men. You know, when they were putting balls in the box, there'd be the occasional free man in there who would head it just over or wide, or they'd make a mess of it. But yeah, it was just one of those games. I don't want to. If it was 11v11 and that performance came out, I wouldn't be as happy. And again, I'm not necessarily happy because we got beat, obviously. But we did generally defend well, and that opening 5 minutes, if anything, is the only thing that's keeping me going and keeping a slight smile on my face. It just makes me think we haven't even got all of our best players on the pitch there. But when you got Lafay in the middle and you've got Neil in there as well, I can only imagine how good it'd be when Job gets his minutes in his legs as well, and stick him in there. And then of course our better players coming forward, starting the game, and our defenders coming back. There is a glimmer of hope there. There was a glimmer of hope, but like I said, after sending off, going down to 10 minutes, changed absolutely everything, which is a shame. But before I kind of round this off, there is the one negative that he alluded to at the beginning of the video, Tommy Watson. Now, like I said, I've tried to remain somewhat positive despite defeat, but I'm just going to say it. I don't want to see him in a Sunderland shirt ever again. Today was an absolute embarrassment of a performance, And not just today, since he's signed that contract or since the announcement of the Brighton deal, he has been shite. And today, and I don't mean just because he played poor, by the way, his attitude looks horrendous. The sheer amount of 50-50 challenges that he blatantly pulled out of, because obviously he didn't want to get injured for his new Brighton move. But to be wearing a Sunderland shirt with that attitude is fucking embarrassing. And I don't want to see him wearing a Sunderland shirt ever again. And every single time he got the ball, he lost it. Every touch was horrendous. Every pass went straight to a Brighton man. I would love to see a stat. I don't know, I'll probably be able to find it at some point tonight. I want to see a stat of his pass completion. It must be 4-5%. That's it. Because he lost the ball every single time. He passed it straight to Brighton men every time. Sorry, Brighton men. Bristol City men every time he got the ball. He was probably looking for a Brighton man, wasn't he? But yeah, his attitude, he looked like a fan that had won a competition. When I started to realise how bad he was playing, I kept my eye on him off the ball, and he's walking and he's just looking at the ball go over his head, and he's looking around, and he just looks like a child that has been let on the pitch. He has zero interest in being a Sunderland player. So get that fucker out of a Sunderland shirt and make him leave. Do you know what I mean? He's going at the end of the season. And it's blatant he doesn't want to be here and he has zero interest. So get him gone. I'm going to get myself really fucking angry here because when I just see people that disinterested in a Sunderland shirt when you should be proud, regardless of the situation, it's infuriating. But anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Frustrating, but you know, with 11 men, Lefay starting and getting minutes in his legs, there are positives. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there because that Watson rant it's pissing me off. It's making me so angry to see him in a Sunderland shirt. But we'll leave it there. Again, let us know how you feel in the comments down below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? You might do, you might not. I know I've just rambled here, but let us know. If you've enjoyed, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. But for now, take care. Stay jammy. Away the lads and keep the faith.